Welcome back to Madseason Sports. It's going to be a big week. Georgia, LSU, SEC championship game. Georgia rolling into this game 12-0. LSU 9-3. Uh, Mercedes-Benz is going to be the location of this in Atlanta, right down the road from Athens, and it's going to be pretty wild. This one has escaped Georgia a couple of times. I can imagine the team is laser focused in making sure that they pull this ring and they put everything they have into this game. And a lot of these guys are not part of the team, have not been part of the team in the past that have played LSU, and LSU has actually taken the ring. And of course, Georgia, won the game, won the SEC championship, and had their ring, early 2000. But here they go. It's a national championship team last year, lost the SEC championship to Alabama, and then they turned around and put it together in the national championship game, and that's the most important ring. But I can tell you that these boys are on the money right now. Want this ring, want this game. They want to finish the season out unblemished. And we're going to attempt to get Branson Robinson on the phone for a quick interview.
Hello.
Branson,
Hey, how's it going?
how are you doing? This is Derek McCoy with Madseason Sports.
Yes, sir.
Man, I imagine this has been a wild ride for you. Um, how have you been? How are you doing this week?
I've been doing good. Yeah, it's been kind of a wild ride, dealing with football and everything. But yeah, I've been good.
let's let's talk a little bit about Branson Robinson. I got to bring this story up, man, because wow, I read an article about you as a kid at your dad's place, and you were picking up motors and transmissions as a teenager, moving them around.
Yeah. Um, During the summer as a kid, I used to go to my work. I used to go to my dad's workplace. He's a car salesman, and he has his own body shop. And yeah, whatever he asked me to do, I pretty much did it. And that, involved picking up car parts, engines. I mean, he knew I was capable of doing it, so that's why I was a big help, and that's why he asked me to do stuff like that. But yeah, I think that actually played a part in, you know, some of my, physique that I have now. Um, moving heavy objects like that, I used to come home sore, lifting all that stuff. It was just like lifting weights when I used to go to work with him. So yeah, I've been doing it since a young age.
Branson, you are not only a strong kid, you are a powerlifting machine. You bench over 400 pounds, you squat over 600, and you deadlift over 700. I mean, you're not just strong, you're abnormally strong.
Yeah. Once I got into powerlifting, that's when I began to, reach that type of level of strength. I always been a strong kid, but yeah, powerlifting it helped me, reach the level to where I am now.
Let's talk about that jump. Man, what is it like for you uh, coming from a high school in Mississippi and then stepping into some of these stadiums, specifically Sanford, who absolutely love you? And I mean, you are one of the most highly anticipated running backs we've landed at Georgia in a long time. What was it
Mhm.
like for you walking between the hedges for the first time?
Oh man, it was life changing. I mean, it's something I can't really. I can try my best to put it in words, but it's something I really can't fully explain to you how it is. It's just something you have to see firsthand. But yeah, walking in between, especially Sanford, Jacksonville, even Missouri. in planning those type of games like the Tennessee games, it's just something you just have to see. It's amazing atmosphere. It's something that a lot of kids out of Mississippi don't get to experience a lot, you know. But yeah, as a young boy coming from Mississippi, that's something that's mind blowing. I mean, we don't get to see stuff like this on a regular basis, and yeah, being watched by 100,000 people in the stands and millions more on TV, yeah, it's something that it's life changing.
Look, we've been waiting for this. I've watched you. I've been following you through your high school career, and could not believe it when you chose Georgia. I was just, man, I was so pumped, and to watch you run out on that field is amazing because you were a beast in high school, and now you're at Georgia, who is easily uh, one of the biggest running back schools, and we got a quick question right here from the chat. Branson says, Branson, who and what impresses you most about this Georgia team?
Um, when I say Hugh, I would say all of my teammates. Um, just seeing, you're at Georgia, so the standard is everybody is a good player, just like you. And coming from the high school in Mississippi, you're always, the best player on the field, so to speak. And to come around those guys and practice with those guys, I mean, practices are the hardest thing. I mean, the games are easy because we practice against the best, and that amazes me the most, like how much talent, it is, how much of a talent gap it is from high school to Georgia, because the game is so much faster, so much to just running the ball. You have to learn schemes and different stuff like that to defeat those type of players, because these players aren't normal players. These guys aren't have the same skill set, the same skill level you have. So that just impresses me the most.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that amazes me, and I'm so pumped about this because you get to go. I mean, Branson, you've jumped right into this. I mean, you know, you're in the best of the best conferences. You rub shoulders, you practice, you play these guys, the best in college
Mm-hmm.
football in the conference, and here you are. You're in the SEC championship, and you're on your way to the playoffs, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just amazing to watch you do this. I mean, I love to kind of live this through you, obviously because I've never had this kind of talent before. But it's got to be so humbling with all the work that you've put in. I've watched videos. I've seen you lift weights. I've
Mm-hmm.
seen you play, and when you come off the field and you think you could have done better, it's all over your face. And
Yeah.
when people love football, they love the type of player that you are because they know that you're tough on yourself, and you know that this is a team game, and you're giving everything that you have. And
Mm-hmm.
that endeared me to you the most when I saw you play for the first time stepping on the field at Georgia. What's it like, man? I mean, when when you're in that game and
Mm-hmm.
you're facing a team like Tennessee, everybody was talking about Tennessee. Everybody thinking that Georgia, they weren't on top of their game, and all y'all are doing is winning. What did it
Mm-hmm.
feel like to go in there, Stanford Stadium, crazy fans, and take care of business pretty handily? I mean, y'all could have run the ball for 300 to 400 yards against them if you wanted to.
Mm-hmm. Um, yeah, I mean, leading up to the game, the hype was unbelievable. I mean, coach would try to tell us, during practice, after practice, before practice, get away from the noise, do what you got to do, watch extra film, just stay away from the noise. But that type of game, it was kind of impossible to do that. I mean, you hearing it everywhere. Tennessee versus Georgia, the biggest matchup in Sanford Stadium history, and as it hyped up to be, and yeah, and just hearing the noise, on campus from other people, from your parents, it that gets you motivated in itself. And as I was going through warm ups, I mean, the stadium was near packed to capacity, an hour before the game during warm ups. That in itself was just extra motivation for us, and that feeling that you get, It's just I can't really explain it. It's just something that you just gotta live. You just gotta go through it. I mean, that feeling that you get like, man, this is it. Like this is the biggest moment, biggest of the biggest. And it's just something that it gives you chill bumps, and it does humble you, like you said. And it's just something that you want to capitalize on. You want to capitalize on that moment, and like we did, and put your best foot forward, like we did.
Branson, you averaged 8.2 yards a carry in high school. You're not an average running back, and you're mixing it up with the best of best at Georgia. Does your dad come to the games?
Yeah, he makes every game. He made every game this year.
When you step on that field, can you spot him out? Because I know if I'm you, I'm looking for my dad. Where's he sitting in these stands? I want to put my eyes on him, and this has got to be something special because listen to your dad talk about you and some of the interviews that he's done and some of the articles I've read. He has got to be the most proud parent of the boy that he's raised to a young man, and watching you walk on that field that has graced many great running backs before you, and here you are about to etch your name in Georgia history. Y'all are on an incredible run. What's it like locking eyes with him when you're on that field?
Yeah, I yeah, I try to spot him out before, during warm ups, and I can spot him out then. He's always there doing warm ups and watching me warm up and everything. So I spot him out before the game. But yeah, I mean, he plays probably the big. Him and my mom play the biggest part in where I am today. I mean, he through all the struggles, through all the time I doubted myself. I still have doubts, and when I have doubts, I call up my parents. I call them up, and he gets me through it. Because it's a tough game, especially at this level. Sometimes your mental can get messed with. Because it's a tough game. Tough things happen, injuries, anything like that. But even in high school, my freshman and sophomore year, I played injured. I was injured all the time. I was, contemplating where football was for me. You know what I'm saying? And he always kept saying, like, man, you're different. You're unique. Like, you one of the best. You're the best I ever seen. He always gave me positive energy, and to see, to now see me succeed and get to the level I am, I know he's proud. Like, I know he's telling himself that, yeah, see what I told you. Like, look what you done. Like, I believed you the whole time. And I know he believed me the whole time. And yeah, to see that smile on his face, like after the game, him and my mom, that's all that really, that's at the end goal of things. That's what really matters, to see them smile and see them happy, to let them see that I'm living out my dream, and they played a big part of that.
Man, that's awesome. We've got a couple of people that we've talked to recently. One of them being Shay Hodge, and another one I know Gordon Ware. Gordon speaks incredibly highly of you and says your work ethic is second to none. And then Shay Hodge, we had him on last week, and he's saying the same. Um, he's saying that you just do. You don't ask questions. You don't wonder where you're going with what you're doing. You just do.
Mm.
I can't tell you how odd that is for someone your age to be as disciplined and so focused and just be ready for what's being thrown at you. What would you say? Who would you say that you attribute that to the most? That got you into that work ethic? Because your dad says the same thing, Branson. He says that he never pushed you towards anything. He supported you in what you did, and you developed all these habits on your own. And he started talking, a little bit about Herschel Walker and his dedication to his body, and and that's who you remind me of when I look at you, and when you were doing your workouts for the spring game and whatnot. That's who you reminded me of physically, stature wise, was Herschel Walker.
Hmm. Yeah, like absolutely. My parents played the biggest part in that. My work ethic, like I said, going to work with my dad, he instilled that into me as a young child. I always work hard. Always, I mean, he still comes home late every day. He travels to Greenville, Mississippi, where I'm from. It's like 2 hours where I'm from, so he travels there every day, coming back late. And I'm just seeing that, living with them. And it's like, man, he works hard. That's something he's the person I look up to. My mom as well. She works late. She comes in late. Sometimes she don't want to speak and laugh and talk with us, but she have to. I mean, cause she loves us. That type of mindset, that type of work ethic, that was instilled in me as a child. My dad always that was this reasoning of me going to work with him. Learning the steps of how to work hard and getting what you want. And yeah, like you said with Shahai said, I don't ask questions about anything. I'm not gonna ask how long it's gonna take for me to get better at this. I mean, how fast it's gonna happen, how slow it's gonna happen. If it's gonna help me succeed and get me to where I need to be, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. No questions asked. And I'm gonna try to do it the best way to the best of my abilities. Because at the end goal of things, I want to be the best person I can be, the best version of me. So my work ethic has always been the biggest reason why I came from my sophomore year, no interest at all, not even from JUCOs or anything like that, mainly because I was injured. But that whole summer since then, I mean, just working, 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 working. I mean, put my head on and just work. Just remember what my dad instilled in me, and yeah. So I just never ask questions. I just do what I got to do to get where I need to be.
Branson, here you are, the week before, leading up to the SEC championship game. What are you guys talking about to one another? What's the attitude of this? Because last year we dipped one to Alabama in the SEC championship, and then we came back and of course and took them in the national championship. But what's the mindset? I mean, as a fan, I'm on the outside looking in, and I'm thinking, man, these guys have. This is the one that they want. This is the one that got away, and everybody's laser focused on this game. What has the coach told you? What's the climate for you guys leading up to this weekend's game?
Yeah. The theme is they're coming off a loss, and we don't want to dive into that. Oh man, they lost to Texas A&M, and so this is going to be a quick, easy win. No, we know that's not. We're going to get their best. This is the SEC championship, and the last two times we played these guys, we lost, and we came up short to them. And one of those was in the SEC championship
That's
with
right.
Joe Burrow and his squad, and that's just extra motivation for us. And like Coach Smart always saying, like the SEC championship, I haven't experienced yet, but he's been in. I believe he said he's been in six SEC championships, through Alabama and Georgia and all that. He said this is the biggest atmosphere of any game, including the national championship. I mean, this is the game is where all stakes on the line. You're going to get the best of what LSU is. LSU is, in my opinion, is a very talented team, a very good team. And like I said, we're going to get their best, and they're definitely going to get ours. I mean, that's been our theme, man. I mean, we're working, and we're working like this is the last game we're going to play, because I mean, the SEC championship. I mean, like Kirby Smart said, he almost got as many national championships as SEC championships.
Right.
So it's tough to get. It's tough to get those. I mean, this is the bit. In my opinion, this is the best conference where the best players are. So it's tough to win this conference, and that's just something that's always been our main goal. First, win the SEC championship and the national championship. That's been the goal before the season started. So our mindset is, what are we doing that LSU is not? What are we doing better that LSU is doing? I mean, we're pushing ourselves. We're watching extra film. We're watching extra schemes they do. See what type of personnel is in the game at what time. Just little small details that can get us past.
Yeah, I would think. I don't think you could have wrapped that up any better. As a huge Georgia fan, what I'm looking at is I want to wrap this up with the ring. I want you guys to go in there, and I want you to really walk this game and show LSU naturally, what Georgia football is about. And like you said, the last two SEC championship games we've lost to LSU. And LSU had a hell of a squad when they beat us last time.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, it's like you said, this game means more to me right now. Obviously, the national championship is the goal here, but to finish out the season in the SEC as SEC championships, undefeated, 13-0, would be an incredible milestone for a young man like yourself. We have a quick question, if you don't mind, Branson. Somebody wants to know, what's it like? What is Kirby Smart like talking to you guys in halftime before you guys come out for the second half? Is he a yeller?
uh, I mean, some stuff that he says I can't say on this interview, but man, when he speaks, the thing about Coach Smart, and when he speaks, everybody listens. He grabs everybody attention. He's a very good speaker, and it doesn't matter winning or losing during halftime. He's gonna come in there and he's gonna get you remotivated. I mean, he says the right things, and yeah, he's a yeller. I admit that he's a yeller, but he's passionate. That's why he's a yeller. He's passionate what he's doing. He want to win just as bad as us, and I believe it kind of hurts him that he's not out there praying with us. Instead, he's watching it from the sideline. I believe that plays in a part of why he yells so much. He's just so passionate about the game, and he's going to do whatever it takes, on the sidelines to help us win.
Branson, I wish you the best, and you truly are the future of this program's running game. And and more importantly, one last thing, I've got to ask this: has anybody reached out to you and welcomed you to Georgia that's no longer on the team? Any?
Yeah, a couple guys, Sonya Michelle, Nick Chubb, DeAndre Swift. I mean, pretty much the big running back guys. McCole Hartman, James Cook, Zamir White, and Jordan Davis. A lot of those guys.
I mean, big Davis, man. I love every one of these guys that you're talking about right now, and and Branson, you can rest assured. Anybody that I've talked to about you and anything that I've read about you, you are living the correct way as a young man that's walked into a perennial powerhouse like Georgia. You are preparing yourself for greatness, and everybody is backing that up by their own stories that I've talked to you. And have had anything to do with you. I wish you nothing but the greatest, and I'm ready to see you break out into your career. And I think everybody will say it's a matter of time before this kid broke loose.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it. Yes, sir.
Branson, thank you so much for your time. Good luck this weekend, and go Dogs.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Go Dogs.
Branson Robinson, what a hell of a young man. I can't wait for this kid to run that field like he did in the state of Mississippi. So excited for him. Everybody that I've spoken to is just said, the greatest things about him. Shay Hodge, last week was talking about the workouts that Branson Robinson does and how he asks no questions and really just takes off. This is the kind of kid that everybody wishes that they had on their program. That is the future, because he is the future. Very humble young man. Sings in his church choir. And built like a Mack truck. It's amazing what this kid looks like. He is a physical specimen. But you keep hearing it over and over again about how this kid just runs and he just trains, and he is always looking for a way to better himself. So, yeah, I mean, let's get this done this weekend. Let's bring home this championship ring. Let's get this young man started in his career, and watch him, catapult and be the next Branson Robinson. Because I don't think that he really emulates anybody that I've seen run. He looks like a Herschel Walker physically, but he is his own man, and he's going to make his mark. It's a kid like that will definitely leave his name with this program and bright lights. So 17.5-point favorites going into this weekend's game against a good LSU team with kind of a banged up quarterback in Daniels. I think they are going to throw the sink at us, and they have absolutely nothing to lose. They don't feel like they should. They have much to fight for other than the SEC championship, um, because I think in the back of their minds, it's probably playing that, hey, look, this season fell short from what they accomplished mid-season, and then a little bit into that, they expected to make the playoffs, and they're they're 3-loss team, and Alabama's ranked above them, Tennessee's ranked above them, but with all the success so quickly, they expected to be in the playoffs. So they have nothing to lose, and they want this game, and Georgia's going to have a fight on their hands. LSU's always been a real formidable opponent, and this year is going to be no different. But I think Kirby Smart will have these guys ready. It's time to bring home this ring. Kirby wants this one, and you can tell by the way Branson was talking. This one stings for Kirby Smart because he hasn't licked LSU in the SEC championship game yet, and he wants that. So we'll see what happens. I like my dogs, 17.5-point favorites. I think they will cover. I think it's going to be a matter of will. I think it's going to be a close game for the first half, and then I think you're going to see the guys take it over. You're going to see our running crew break loose. Branson, Milton, McIntosh, Edwards. These guys are going to put it to LSU. And I think you're going to see the mailman, Stetson Bennett. I think he's going to do what he does, and he's just going to win. He's going to make the throws that it takes. And I've been critical of him more than anybody. I've wanted him to just air it out. I want him to throw for 400 yards every game. I mean, that's just who I am. I want to see him blow opponents away, but we just don't get to see that in the SEC a lot. Every Saturday is a battle, no matter who you're playing, and I think LSU just proved that by playing Texas A&M, and I think Tennessee found out the hard way against South Carolina, throwing 63 up on them. So, what a great interview! Love the kid already. Going to do great things for Georgia. Couldn't be more happy for him. Everybody, thanks for joining us. We're going to be back after the SEC championship game. And hopefully we'll have some really good news and have a little bit clearer of a picture. This weekend's going to be crazy with Alabama, Tennessee, and Ohio State sitting on the outside looking in. If TCU can't take care of business against K-State and, USC can't take care of their business, we're going to have an Ohio State team slipping in. And we could have an Alabama team slipping in. If number 3 and 4 lose, and it's going to be chaos in the college football playoffs. But that's what this is about. This is what makes this sport so great. It is round and round we go until the last person standing. And this weekend is going to be wide open, and you can bet everybody in the SEC will be watching every game to see if Alabama and Tennessee, probably not Tennessee. TCU would have to get blown out. They're Ohio State and Alabama are in line to slide into 3 and 4. So Tennessee's on the outside looking in, but it would be wild to see Ohio State and Alabama end right back up in it. So